she wanted to go. We were done, and I was still kind of talking, and I turned around, and he had rolled up the window and just started to pull away and kind of yanked my head across the, a foot or so, and I think yanked out a little bit of hair.
Salut tout le monde, bienvenue à Behind the Pwel numéro 3. Aujourd'hui, on reçoit Ron de Bearded Villains Montreal. Bearded Villains, c'est quoi? Ben, c'est une gang de dudes avec des grosses barbes puis plein de poêles qui ramassent des fonds pour divers organismes. Donc, on va parler de Bearded Villains avec Ron aujourd'hui, puis on va aussi parler à la fin du vidéo. Restez jusqu'à la fin, c'est super important parce qu'il y a un gros événement, un Poutine Fest qui s'organise au mois d'octobre, encore là, pour lever des fonds. Donc, merci d'être là, restez là, on commence le tout maintenant. Alright guys, thanks for being here on this third episode of Behind the Pwel. Here I am with Mr. Ron from Bearded Villains of Montreal. We're gonna shoot this episode in English and we're gonna subtitle it afterwards, so it's gonna be subtitled in French. Like I say, our podcast could be in French, in English, in Franglish. It's just never gonna be in Spanish because I just don't understand it. So thanks for being with us in this rainy day, Mr. Ron.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for the ones that are listening on the podcast, I mean, it's pretty much the longest beard we had on the podcast so far. So probably going to measure it at the end and maybe just do a little something with the length of our bearded, what do you call it, AVT in English? Bearded guests eventually. So Ron, just would just like to know a little bit about, who you are, where you're coming from, Bearded Villains. So we're just going to start by just introduce yourself to our audience.
All right. My name's Ron Hornsby McDaniel. I come from the U.S., originally from Scotland, Oban, Scotland. My family's from. I moved here about 8 years ago. In the past, I owned salons and barbershops. I've always had a beard. I was previously in the military. I was in the U.S. Navy. I retired from there. After I left the Navy, you're not allowed facial hair in the U.S. military. Yeah. So I had already decided the minute that I got out of the military, I was going to grow a beard. So I've had a beard since the early 90s, mid-90s when I got out of the military. So I've never had this long. So I had moved here in 2013. I moved to Montreal. My beard was a little bit bushier and kind of bigger. I had let it grow for probably about 4, 5, 6 months, the biggest it had ever been. Long story short, I had gotten stopped by a model agency, somebody that wanted me to do some shoots and wanted me to do some, and it led to more modeling that I did for the next couple of years. And the bigger it got, the more shoots I got and stuff, and kind of culminated into me being asked to work for Comme des Garçons and Jean-Paul Gaultier in Paris. And I got booked for the beard, and I got kind of stuck into it. It was kind of, I cut it off. I got tired of it, and I cut most of it off. And then I lost some shoots, and people lost interest and didn't want to shoot me and book me anymore. So I ended up growing it back. Right after that, I heard about the Bearded Villains. And the Bearded Villains is it's a charity nonprofit organization. It's around the world. It's around the entire world. It's in every country, every major city. We are beard-based fraternity that does charitable things. The minimum requirement, the first things that get us together is our beards, obviously. You have to have a minimum 4 centimeters to join. During your journey and during the process, you have to keep at least 4 centimeters. There's there's kind of a badge of honor, kind of a competitiveness to our beards and us throughout the world. Who has the bigger beard, who has the cooler beard, who has, it's a constant thing, type of thing. So same thing. It's difficult for me now to cut it because it's what I've known for around the world. Everybody kind of knows my big white beard. So every time I go to trim it or something, it's always people panicking. And even though at times, it gets frustrating because it's a lot. We're going to talk about it. It's a lot to deal with all the time, this big of a beard day to day. It takes a lot of maintenance, takes a lot of care, love and tenderness and stuff. So anyways, that's why I have the beard. I'm the captain of the Montreal chapter. Okay. Our chapter's organization and the focus of the organization worldwide is based upon changing minds, changing perceptions. We are open to all sexualities, all races, non-religious or religious, any religion. And it's about changing perception of, somebody perceiving somebody a certain way by seeing them. Tattoos, big beards. Not all of us are bikers, or, they perceive us as bikers or drug dealers or uneducated and those types of people. So it's about changing minds, first of all. Second to that, we are a beard fraternity. We like to get together and have a really good time. But along the way, our main purpose is helping the unfortunate along the way, that are not as fortunate as ourselves. So we spend a great deal of the entire year working to make money and raise money functions for our charities. In Montreal, we have, over the last 3 or 4 years, we've been around about 4 years, we have raised tons of money. We have some main, L'Église Montreal, which is a LGBT education program that goes into secondary schools and teaches and gives a hotline about the minorities of gay, lesbian, trans. We do the homeless brewery, the homeless shelter downtown. We've done that for many years now. We give clothing. We've done La Mère Noël. La Mère Noël is a major one for us, which is actually here in Verdun. We give presents. We raise money at a major function called Poutine Fest in October, which we'll be talking about in a bit, hopefully. We raise money there. What happens is the money from that, we get a list of children that need, for anybody that doesn't know what La Mère Noël is, it's for underprivileged children that don't get presents for Christmas. Okay. So we raise money just to get a list of names. We get boys and girls, their ages, and what they'd like from Santa Claus. And basically, we as a chapter, us guys, go out to Toys R Us and those places and pick out their presents and stuff, and we print and we give them type of thing. We also, the Leukemia Foundation of Canada, we raise money for them. We have also for the Indigenous Women's Shelter, downtown Montreal. We've given to them and we raise money for them. We're always trying to do something. We try to keep it in our community and keep it in Montreal. Each chapter itself has a different focus and has a different culture, around the world and what their purposes are. But for Bearded Villains in Montreal, our purpose is to help our community and to help Montreal and the ridings and the boroughs around Montreal.
Very, very nice. Very nice. And for the people listening that don't see the video version, unfortunately, you guys all have kind of a similar look with the patches and the little vests, the little vest and stuff like that. You seem to be having the similar kind of look. Is this something that you guys need to certain guidelines that you guys need to follow, or it's
we do?
And what the patch is and the whole thing, does it mean anything? I see on your shirt you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You probably more than I can count.
Every what they call them cuts. Everybody's vest is personal to them. It's their expression of who they are, as well as their accomplishments in the organization. For me, just to explain, with our only requirement, this is our chapter patch right here. Now, this is the Pride patch. We release a Pride patch every single year, but the logo itself is our only logo for our chapter, and then we have what's called an X factor here. This changes the colors each year depending upon what we're doing. Okay. Like in this case, I'm wearing the Pride one. This is, for me, again, this is just expressing who I am. This is my chapter. These were my military ribbons. I had them reproduced into a patch that was given to me as a gift by one of my guys. So I put that on there. This is our representation of the Bearded Villains. It's called a Bearded Villains mask from our BB International, representing Canada. And then these are just collectible patches that are released by BB International that are kind of collectible. So over here is my ranking in the organization. I'm the captain of the chapter. We do nicknames. I'm from Scotland. I also sell kilts online, so my nickname is Kilts. Okay. The chapter guys get together and give nicknames to whoever you are, and however they see you, type of thing. These are accomplishments that I've done within BB. This is when your initially gets patched. This one here is what's called the members patch. After a certain amount of time, up to a year, in good standing, you get put in for this patch. The next one is a scout. You have to have scouted a certain amount of people and brought into the organization to get that patch. And then the next one is what's called the loyal. You have to meet all these other requirements in a certain amount of time and all that stuff to become what's called a loyal. And then the final, the big one is called elite. You have to have been, there are lots and lots and lots of requirements to be able to make that. So these are the ranked patches that villains like to show that what they've accomplished to their fellow brothers and stuff like that.
All right, cool. And let's say by example, I want to become a bearded villain. Like my beard is too short now, but I want it to grow through a little bit longer. What, apart from like having a longer beard, what are the requirements to join? Do I need to cut somebody's beard?
No,
or,
no. No. What I try to tell everybody is this is one of the biggest misconceptions. First of all, you don't have to be anything other than yourself. It doesn't matter what you believe in, what you do, what walk of life, anything like that. But believe in kind of service. You want to help others. You want to, and you've got to have the time. I guess that's probably the biggest thing is you have to have the time. We do have requirements of meeting certain amount of meetings a year. In our chapter here in Montreal, we have every other month. You got to meet half of those, so you got to meet 3 meetings a year. We have 2 major fundraising events for the year. You have to make one of them. And then we have video chats a couple times a month. Depending upon what's going on, for fundraising activities, we have committees and stuff like that just so that we can do updates and give any changes or any issues we can address before they become bigger issues. And we get together a lot. So if you don't have the time, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 6 kids or whatever, it's understandable. It probably isn't right for you. You have to have the time to be able to put into it, as well as the desire to want to hang around guys like yourself. The guys are just like you, and we all want to hang out together. It's a brotherhood. It's a fraternity. So, anyways, all you do is we have a Montreal Instagram. It's Bearded Villains Montreal, Bearded Villains _Montreal on IG. Go there. All you have to do is send an email or a message, or you can contact me. My Instagram is Ronald Kilt Montreal, and contact anybody there and say you're interested, and we'll talk to you about it. It's a pledge process. There's nobody's, it's not like a sorority or a fraternity or anything like that. There's nothing involved with being whipped or having to do anything crazy or anything like that. You're not getting naked and spanked or paddled or anything like that. It's just a basic process of, you talk about the intent, why you want to join, make sure that you're fit. We have you come in and spend some time with us personally, maybe go out for a few drinks or something like that and spend some time with us, make sure you fit with us. Mm-hmm. And if you do, we go on. And
all right, cool. So basically, if you want to carry on a big beard and help out others, and maybe like meet some people just like you and other peoples. I mean, go check out www.bearded. Was it like our website? The address is going to be better.
Yeah, if you want our website and you actually want to purchase or you want to donate or support some of our charities, go to www.montrealbeardedvillains.com. Again, www.montrealbeardedvillains.com.
All right, so now we are going into our main subject, which is talking about the Pwel. We're going to talk about your beard because you have a pretty nice and long one. So, yeah, I mean, how long did you start growing a beard after you got out of the military? Was it like in the 90s or?
90s, yeah. Okay, perfect. But I kept a beard probably about like yours. Maybe that was about the longest I ever had it until I moved to Montreal.
Okay. And I mean, how long did you add that length of a beard for? So like just so for people listening, it's about what
this length
2 feet long.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to measure it.
Yeah.
This length I probably off and on for about 4 or 5 years. I've kept it this length, maybe about half this, but about every year and a half, I cut about half of it off or more. Just because of maintenance or for charity. The event that we have coming up in October, I'm actually donating. We're actually going to have an auction for somebody to get to cut my beard off.
Okay.
Down to regulatory length or whatever they want to cut it to. But I at least have to keep the 4 to 6 centimeters, to be able to stay in my organization. But I'm going to cut it off. Or hopefully maybe there'll be enough people that will bid high enough to block somebody from cutting my beard. So, but it's for a good cause, so it all grows back. But the few times that I cut it, and even if I cut it this time, it grows back.
Yeah. You had any time where you so you say, you know what, I'm just going to completely shave off in the last couple of years?
We've all had the shaving accidents. You get in there and you're trimming the sides, you take one side, and when you're in the mirror and just like anybody else, when you're trimming anything, you go from one side, then you go to the other side, and like, oh, that's a little crooked. And you go this side, and that's oh, that's crooked. Then you go a little further, and you go a little further, and by the time you're done, you're like, oh, crap, I've cut off half of it. Or I've went on the sides, I've got to trim some of the sides, and I went too far and cut too far, too thin. Then I have to thin this. Then I don't like how thin it looks, so then I just cut it and I just start over type of stuff. Yeah. So now, other than tiny little trims, I just don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you feel, let's say, if tomorrow you wake up and you have no more beer, like zero, nothing, like back to square one? Like we had some people coming in that they had to do this or they did it for various reasons and they kind of just felt like they lost a part of their self or they lost a part of their identity? Are you attached to your beard at that point?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It'd be difficult. Yeah, I'm sure, I've thought about it. If I got offered enough money in a position or a job or something, would I cut it off completely? Probably not. Probably at this point, probably not. No. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's what I am. I am this beard. It's made me who I am to this day. I like who I am. I like the organization. I think at this point in my life, in my mid-50s, not to say I'm rich in any way, shape, or form, everybody that knows me, but money is not the most important thing. I like helping people. My brothers in this organization and the guys that I'm with are more important to me, and I'd rather not, skew away from that at all. I like helping people, so I'd keep my beard just to be able to stay in this organization.
Cool. All right. So now next, like the same question I ask everybody. Did you had any funny event or something particular that happened with or because of your beard?
Yep. I was talking to a buddy, walking him to his car. He gets into his car, an SUV at the time, and I bent down and he had something to say to me, so I bent down. He was in his window, so he rolled down his window, and I bent in, and I was talking to him, and I ended up talking to his wife on the other side, so my head was through the door. She wanted to go. We were done, and I was still kind of talking, and I turned around, and he had rolled up the window and just started to pull away and kind of yanked my head across a foot or so, and I think yanked out a little bit of hair directly from my chin, but yeah, I did have that. It got caught in the door, and he just took off and took part of my beard with him.
You took a part of it?
Enough to where I had a couple little blood spots, and in the white beard you could see it. Yeah, where it had yanked some hair out of my chin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beard accident.
Yeah. So now, it's a constant struggle when you eat and stuff. You take it and I shove it inside my beard. I shove it inside my shirt and stuff like that when I'm eating. I see a lot of
picture. You have it like tied at some point, or you tie it, or you put it in there.
I do that because it gets to a point where it's just too much to deal with. So I tie it into a knot instead of. It's not so cool with all the little braid things like women do. So I'm like, well, this looks a little cooler, so a little bit more masculine, so it looks a little better. So I do that just to get out of the way.
Cool. And you told me about the fact that when you were in the U.S., you're a licensed barber, right?
Correct.
All right, perfect. So have you ever trimmed, all your beard trim and your beard maintenance yourself, or you had some people do it for you?
On my beard, I've had a few people trim my beard, but just like anybody else that's really attached to something, it's very emotional for you. You ask for a quarter of an inch, especially if you're talking to a guy. A quarter of an inch is, guys don't know how to measure, so you end up getting a lot more taken off than you really want taken off, and then I end up angry. So after that, there's a few times every once in a while I'll give in every few years and go, okay, I'm ready for a trim. You want to help me out? And just about every single time, they take off more than. But at this point, especially at this length, so if I lose an inch or two, it's not that big of a deal, But when you're growing your length and you're trying to get to me, this just happened to one of my guys in the chapter. Had a significant beard, maybe a little bit longer than yours, about double what yours is, and now he looks like yours. He lost probably 6 months worth of growth because he had to go to a new barber, and he just wanted the edges trimmed up, and they took half of his beard. So that's just happened a few days ago.
That's so funny. Like I have guys coming with big beards all the time, and a lot of them are like, oh, I really want to go short. So I'm like, how short do you want to go? Oh, I really want to take a lot off. So I always start by removing very little.
Yes.
And most of the time, I'm like, you wanna remove some more? Oh no, that's perfect. So I'm like, in my head, like short would be, we're gonna keep a third of what you got, but I end up like removing, a little bit, and then like it's always end up. So yeah, I keep like, what do you say, like measure twice, cut once.
I've always
if a guy asks you to remove a lot,
take a little at a time.
Take a little at a time until you get to the point, because you
can't glue it back on.
You can't glue it back on. So yeah, but I have 20 minutes to do a beard trim. Like just put more time on your schedule when it's a new customer. I mean, it's there's no such thing as, especially for a beard. I mean, it's so much of a part of your identity and of your face. I mean, your hair, you can put a hat on, you can put whatever, or just put some gel and comb it to the side. But your beard, I mean, even if you put balm, it's not gonna it's gonna help a little bit, but it is mainly what it's gonna be. So I mean, especially like guys, when you go to the barber, just learn how to measure properly and how to express how you want to remove, and just make sure, just say like remove a little bit by little bit.
1 inch is pretty large. 1 inch is pretty large, so.
Yeah, so better be safe than sorry. Little by little, and most of the time, like, it's gonna be a lot less than what you think.
Yep. I kind of have a standing rule in my shops I used to have was if somebody was going from whether it was their hair or their beards from long to short, even in one appointment, we wouldn't do it all in one appointment. It's too shocking for people, no matter how good the trim was, no matter how good the haircut was, people freak out. Especially when you've had it for a long time. So again, it's easier to take it in a few stages, whether it's a beard or the hair, to go shorter because you have to get used to it.
Yeah, and then
it's an adjustment.
Even you as a barber, you don't know how the hair is going to react when it's short. Like when it's been long for a long time, it got used to be a certain way, and when you shorten it up, even if you take long hair that you buzz to a number 1, you're still going to see all the splits in the hair because it just got used to go in a certain direction. So going from very long to very short, like in a second, it's never like...
Same thing in a beard when you're dealing with a long beard like this. Yeah. Right now it's got weight to it. It doesn't seem like it do, but the hair follicle still has weight. So it's less wavy and less full now than it usually is when it's shorter. When I cut half of it off, it's a lot more maintenance because it's so much bigger. It's across my face because the weight comes up. So... It's you got to think about those things. Like you said, the
longer it is, the more pliable it's going to be. So it's always have to take care and take that in consideration. Talking about beard maintenance, I mean, with a long beard like this, it must be pretty intensive to take care of it. What's your regular daily routine to make sure that your beard looks nice and it's well maintained?
A couple times a week, depending upon what I'm doing, how strenuous of a week it's been, how much I'm sweating, how dirty I'm getting, stuff like that. Usually on the average, about every 2 or 3 days, I wash it. I put a conditioner into it. I put usually a mask conditioner, a heavy, intense conditioner in for a couple minutes. And then after I get out, I dry it lightly. Then I'll take a leave-in conditioner of some sort and get it to my and put that in it also, and then I'll take a beard oil, a generous amount, as I'm sure you talked about in your other videos. Beard oils for your skin, especially with something this length. I can get really dry skin underneath, so you get the beard oil to the skin, get it in there pretty good. A little leftover I get through the beard. I style it. I let it dry for a little while. Sometimes I'll run a blow dryer through it really, really quickly just to get the dampness out. Mm-hmm. Usually I let it dry on its own over about a half an hour or so. Then I'll come back and I'll hit it with a beard balm. When it was shorter, a wax would hold it a little bit better. But wax in a longer beard usually is not the best product to use. A balm or a beard butter to help place things and to keep it moist and to keep it moisturized and is much better. If you
take in consideration the tiny size of beard balm containers, I mean, speaking of that, like a beard is a time investment, but a beard is also a monetary investment where you have to buy. You don't have to buy tons of products, but you have to buy the right products to help you style your beard depending on the length. So, how much do you spend in a week or in a month in beard products on average? Did you ever made a calculation?
Never made a calculation, but a considerable amount. It's a decent amount. It's, again, like you said, it's an investment. You don't have, I get all the time, how do you get your beard that long? My beard won't get that long, that type of thing. It's because most people don't think about the maintenance cost of the actual products. If you don't keep it moist, you don't keep it moisturized, you don't keep it trimmed, you don't take care of it and shampooed, and I'll say it over and over and over again, is the moisture is that it just breaks off. It looks like hell. It gets very thin. It's work. It's a lot of work, and you don't know it until you have it, and it's just trial and error. Especially as a beginner, if you're a beginner growing out a beard, you think, I'm just going to let it grow, and I won't do anything with it. I'm going to put a little beard oil into it. But the regimen has to change as the beard grows, and the more you do to it, the more that you're having issues with it, the products change. So my advice is to get advice from a professional, from a barber or in a shop that specializes in no beards well and has the products, and they can tell you exactly what stage you're at and what products you need to use.
Cool. So that's your recommendation for somebody that wants to grow a long and thick beard, right?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, and lastly, just to finish up, we talked about an event, an event you got in October coming shortly. So if you want to, talk a little bit about it, so people can look, where to go and if they want to participate in any way.
We've got an annual event called Poutine Fest. My phenomenal chapter. The guys have worked really hard over the last year, especially during COVID and stuff, to get this together. It's called Poutine Fest. The benefactors, the charity benefits are Leukemia Foundation of Canada and Noel, again, where we buy presents for the children at Christmas. Basically, it's a weekend event. Saturday is the main event. Anybody can come. We have vendors there. We'll have barbers. We'll have tattoo artists. We have a beard competition. We have a food truck there. And the main event is a Poutine Fest eating competition. Okay. It's a team of 5. Anybody, again, we can put together. If you can get together a team of 5, it's 20 pounds eaten within. Now, mind you, last year the winners won it in a little over 3 minutes or so. 3 minutes of 20 pounds of poutine. So that's that's the fun part. Then towards the end of the night, then there's dancing and there's all kinds of things, auctions and stuff going on there. It's in Lachine. It's on the Lachine Canal. Okay. Again, you can go to the website, www.montrealbeardedvillains.com. You can buy admission tickets, which are $10, beard contest, which I think is another $10, or you can just donate to help out our charities. And there's a $10 ticket there. You can buy those in multiple 2s or 3s, whatever you'd like to donate to help us out, to help out Leukemia Foundation and help out Noel.
Okay, so it's outside near
the Dairy Queen, Dairy Queen, and the Lighthouse, right next to there. It's going to be an indoor-outdoor. Everything will be right on site. We have food trucks and everything that'll be there all day and all night, and activities all day, and anybody can come.
All right, cool. Then I'm gonna be coming by. That's for sure.
Good.
We're gonna be giving away a kit of our Nelson and Floyd beard products, beard wash, soap, and balm. So you guys are going to be able to hand it out in the giveaways or the contests you guys have. So come in big numbers, raising money for good causes and eating poutine with bearded dudes. Like, what you want more? I mean, that's
yeah. Come show support. Help out my guys. My guys have worked really, really hard to help out these charities and stuff, and it'd be nice for them to see the success. So please come out and support us.
All right, Ron, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing your beard stories with us. It was a pleasure. And if you guys want to know more about Ron's organization, Bearded Villains, just look in the description. We're going to put the links to the event, the Poutine Fest, and everything's going to be easily accessible there. And we're going to get the whole thing subtitled in French for our French subscribers and followers. So thanks for watching, and we will be with you again next month for another episode of Behind the Pwel. Cheers.